Rocky.
Here we are. I'm smiling. I'm happy. How's it going?
Webinar has started.
Welcome, everyone.
Hey. We
Happy
do need some music. We
we
need some
do.
music. We were just
Next
talking about
webinar, we're gonna have like a kick-ass intro video and some fun. Let's go. It's a Tuesday night. Is it Tuesday?
it's Tuesday. You don't even know what day it is, Mom?
Tuesday night,
Living
and
the
yes,
Florida dream, huh?
living the dream. Living the dream.
Like what day
Okay.
is it?
So Maimone Legal welcomes all of you. Rocki Maimone, Mena Maimone. Mena, tell me about your flag. What's going on over there? Have you moved to the UK?
The British invasion. I think my British accent's pretty good. Sorry to anyone who's like, oh, it sucks. No, what we're doing is we're starting to advertise and help the UK, anyone from the UK. So I thought I would represent the people tonight who are our new
I'm
guests.
representing our Canadian people. So
Yeah.
welcome, everyone. We have a jam-packed hour. We're going to go through some excellent material, and then we're going to open it up to a Q&A. If you have questions, just drop them in the Q&A chat box, and then we'll try to get to all of them. Let's get started, Mena. Tell me a little bit about you, what's going on, where are we, what's happening?
Mom, you're very serious tonight. Just boom, boom, boom.
Let's go. We got a lot of stuff to
Oh,
cover.
let's go. Okay, so as my mom said, this is Rocky here, and I'm Mena. We're the mother-daughter duo. And we went on this journey ourselves about 8 years ago. We fell in love. We're from Canada. It was freezing cold. We came down to Florida and we were like, you know what? I think we need to move. So we moved the whole family. My brother and my stepdad were kicking and screaming, but we had them come with us.
Not anymore.
We opened businesses. We pursued different types of visas, and I ended up going to law school. And I looked at my mom and I said, "Mom, we could do it better. We could do it better than the immigration attorney that represented us. We can provide more support. We can just be there for people, educate them, and do it differently." So that's when we joined forces and we created Maimone Legal. My mom, Rocky, is a wonderful resources for all of our clients. She's a business expert, I would say, and has opened and grown multiple businesses back in Canada. And now is an integral part of the firm where she just helps people make the move, helps to make them feel comfortable, and helps our staff really with streamlining processes and client care is her forte. So that's my mom, Rocky, and I am the legal brain. So I run the legal department. I help, with the putting together the petitions. I do consultations. I help guide people and excuse, excuse me. Oh, I'm choking on my words. My forte is complex legal issues, complex problems that other attorneys can't resolve. People come to me and I fix it for them. I'm
And you
sorry,
do,
I'm
and
choking.
you do a great job. When you get into lion mode, talk a little bit about that later. She really gets cracking and does a great job for our clients. Along with, we have two other attorneys now working for the firm. The firm has grown substantially, and I think it's because we do a great job of taking care of all of our clients and linking up with other professionals and really making a difference, not just in the immigration world, but all around. So we're going to get a little bit into that in a moment. It is my absolute pleasure to be here. I love business. I love real estate. I love helping people. And I love making friends and having a great time. So our Canadian community in the US is really growing. And we're bringing together like-minded people who are looking for a better way of life. And we're gonna get into all of that in just a moment. So we noticed at the firm and from even our friendships that our number one target market is Canadians moving to Florida. That seems to be the number one spot. The second spot is Texas. The UK, the pattern is exactly the same. They're choosing Florida number one and Texas number two. Florida and Texas are both Republican states, and both of them have no state income tax. And there's all kinds of benefits for you, the business owner, or if you want to come over and be an employee. I mean, at the end of the day, the money that stays in your pocket is going to just blow your mind, especially if you're used to running a business or working in Canada. So Florida was ranked #1 3 years in a row for the #1 economy in the US and for businesses. And there's a number of reasons for that. Yes, absolutely. Florida is thriving, growing. Doesn't matter what type of business you're looking to do. If you bring your work ethic and you bring your ideas and you plug them in, it's a whole different ballgame here. Mena, tell us a little bit about why it's we've seen it firsthand because we're here living here the last 3 years. What's happening in Florida that is attracting not just people, businesses, financial sectors? I mean, it's just happening all over the state.
Yeah, so Florida, just like Texas, is a pro-business state. And I think that's the number one reason. The taxes are super low. The laws favor businesses and business growth. And there's a lot of people attracted to that, especially people who are coming from places where they might feel restricted or where they feel that they just can't thrive because the government has placed so much red tape on business growth and maybe even being a landlord or anything that would allow somebody to grow. And so I think a lot of people are attracted to Florida and Texas because the laws just make sense. And if you're somebody who wants to work hard, wants to grow your business, maybe purchase real estate, this is the place for you. Canada was once that place, I think when you were probably my age, Mom. And now, unfortunately, things have changed and taxes have gone through the roof. The price of homes is just through the roof. So um, Florida and Texas don't have any of that. If you listen to the governors that are running the state, they're running the state properly. They're passing laws that make sense and are favorable to to the residents of that state. So I think for that reason, people are really attracted to it, as well as the lifestyle, the weather, opportunities, social, networking opportunities, you name it, schooling, the opportunities for education here are amazing. So I think all around, it just makes sense to come here. And the reason more people haven't come is because they just don't know what is on the other side, right? So that's where me and Rocki come in, and our goal is to educate people on how beneficial it is to really live in a state like this. And our eyes were really open when we moved here. We were like, oh my gosh, they don't know how
I don't
awesome it is.
know.
We didn't know. Had we known, we would have done it way sooner. And so a lot of my conversations with my clients are centered around, their concerns about safety, about lifestyle, about their kids, about taking a risk on buying or starting a business. And I just want to assure you all that all of those things come with really positive aspects. So that's my opinion and why I think, we're #1 economy in the US, third year in a row. But what do you think, Mom? What are your
Well, the other thing that I've experienced here, I was talking to my mom, she's 83 years old. I said, Mom, she's been in Canada for over 60 years. I said, did you ever hear once that the Ontario or federal government said, we have a surplus, so we're going to give you something back? She said, no, never. And I said, I know, in my lifetime either. But since I've been in Florida, for example, October 1st, Florida canceled tax on commercial leases. All throughout the year, there's tax breaks on all kinds of things. The governor is now advocating to either reduce or completely eliminate property tax. Let me say that again. Reduce or completely eliminate property tax.
great?
Florida had an issue with house insurance. So they went in, they fixed it all up, and now house insurance pricing is starting to come down. It's not a state where they just sit there and go, oh, things are broken. Let's add more tax. Let's add property tax. Let's pay for migrants who are living in our hotels, and let's just jack up everybody's property tax in Toronto. Like, those things don't happen here. It appears that there's someone in power who actually understands business, understands income and expenses, and understands what they need to do to run a proper state. When you live here, like they say, Florida is where woke goes to die. If you choose not to put your child in public school, they give you the money they would have spent in public school, so you can go use it homeschool, private school, whatever you choose. They have all kinds of programs. My son got to go to university absolutely free in his undergrad. They take the money from the Florida lottery and they help kids go to school. So there's all kinds of giving back and making things work so that it's a climate where business can grow, you can grow as a person. And from a parental standpoint, watching your kids thrive, able to buy a house, able to run a business, never having to put on a snowsuit again. It's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. So let's talk about business and how we end up bringing you into the United States. We'll get into that in a little bit. But before we do, we want to talk a little bit about house prices. And we want to compare what we see in Canada or the Toronto area as compared to Florida and London. Mena, do you want to tell us a little bit about what we see here?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're living in any of these places, you already know this. So I'm 29 years old. All of my friends are unable to purchase a home in Toronto. They all live with parents or they rent. And I'm going to assume that the same thing is going on in London because looking at these numbers here, no young person can afford to buy a home without assistance from their parents, which is sad, right? So coming down to Florida really changes lives. And same thing, I mean, this number you see here is even less in Texas. So I can tell my own story. When I first came down, I was able to purchase a condo for $180,000. That would have never happened in Toronto, where I'm from. And I was able to purchase a business for $100,000. So, like when it comes down to lifestyle and comfort, you're actually able to purchase a home and live a comfortable life as opposed to living in Toronto or London and being, basically house poor because or not owning a home at all. So I think this right here is, if not enough for you, it's definitely a good reason to consider relocating if you're from one of these places.
Yeah, the other thing that's huge, like I got my real estate license when I came to Florida just to help clients and friends. And what I didn't realize living in Canada, number one, if you're Canadian or you're British and you want to buy a property in Florida, we have mortgage brokers that can help you. And usually you can do it with 20% down. They can use your Canadian credit or British credit and your down payment and away you go. The other thing that I didn't realize either was in Canada, usually we lock in for a 5-year mortgage. And then in 5 years, it opens up and you're like, okay, now what? Whatever the interest rate is at that time, you're subject to. And I know a lot of people bought in 2022, 2023, and now 5 years is coming up right around the corner. Interest rates have doubled from, historic lows. In the United States, you get a 30-year fixed mortgage. Let me say that again, 30 years. So if you buy that house for 465, you know what your payment's going to be until the very last payment when you pay that house off. Now, if you're living in it for yourself, that's one thing. If you want to buy for investment in Canada to get a mortgage, it's almost impossible if you get a second mortgage, like on a second property. In the United States, they have all kinds of investor-friendly loans where if you put 30% down, they look at who you are, but in order to qualify the home, they look at the value of what you could rent it for. And if the rent covers the monthly expenses, you're approved for the mortgage. And you can do that over and over and over again. You're not restricted. It's just a friendlier environment. And it's an opportunity for you to purchase a home for yourself for investment. And the other thing too is 465. I mean, when you're in Toronto, unless you want to move to Sault Ste. Marie, you don't have a lot of options. But in the state of Florida, there are houses for a couple $100,000 if you want to go in a more rural setting. If you want to go into a different setting, I mean, the gamut is there and you can decide where you want to be.
Right.
And also, I know I talked to some people, they're like, well, Rocki, I have to exchange my money. I get it. I went through it too. It's not a nice feeling. You have $1 million and now it's not a million anymore. It's 700,000. But when you look at what that money can buy you, You can buy a house in Florida. You can sell your house for 1.2, 1.5. You can buy a house in Florida for 500,000 cash. You can have money left over to buy a business. You can start your earning US dollar and you can stop giving half of your paycheck to the government every month, every year. And I can tell you that your growth, your in wealth, your net worth is going to accelerate very, very quickly. And that's the process that you're going to have to go through. So I want to do it, Mena. I want to move to Florida like you did. What do I do? What do I have to do? Do I have to
Yeah.
marry Donald
Well,
Trump? What happens here?
no, no, it's pretty easy. So actually, I want to talk about this picture of me and mom. We actually went
Mhm.
out to Texas to visit one of our clients in their E2 business. And this was their restaurant. We had just ordered a burger and they were, up and running, approved for their E2. So that was a really fun day. And that's a cute picture of us,
I
mom.
got a little emotional after that picture.
I know it kind of, you talk to people over video and you help them through all the legal part of it, and then you actually see your work come to fruition and their
Yeah,
work.
it was a really nice moment.
Yeah.
It's nice to change people, help change people's
Yeah,
lives.
we're blessed for sure to help people. So E2 visa is probably one of the most popular visas that we deal with because its point of entry is pretty low and it gives you some really great benefits. So E2 visa is what me and mom immigrated on at first. And it's $100,000 investment. So basically you're spending $100,000 to either start up your own business, purchase an already existing business, or purchase a franchise. So there's really three or four key requirements that we're looking for. Like I said, $100,000 at minimum investment. You need a physical location for your business. Remember, it has to be something that is capable of hiring Americans in the future. So it has to have a physical location. I know some of you will say, well, I can run my business remotely. Well, there are humans going to be, well, why don't you do that from your country, right? Why are you required to be here? So physical location is number two. We need to look at the source of those funds. Where did the money come from? If there's a plausible explanation to where you got it from, maybe your home, your life savings, whatever it may be, that's sufficient. And then a really important factor as well, and this is something newer, is that we are really encouraging our petitioners to actually hire an American before we apply for them. And that strengthens the petition. So what are the benefits of it? You, as the principal applicant, the owner of the business, will get permission to come live in the United States for 5 years. You can continue to renew that visa indefinitely so long as you're employing Americans and one or two Americans at minimum, and you are showing that your business is profitable. So again, you can keep renewing it. It doesn't directly lead to a green card, but there are other avenues that we can explore once you're here in the United States on an E2 that will result in a green card. The cool part of it is that your spouse gets an open work permit. So that means your spouse, you have to be legally married, can come with you and they can work for any company in the US. They can work for your company, any other, company that isn't owned by you, or they can even open their own business. So that's a real big perk. And then your children under the age of 21 can come and go to school. Now, common questions that we get about E2. What about when my kids turn 21? Well, when your kids turn 21, they'll fall off of your E2, meaning we'll have to, and that doesn't mean that we can get rid of them. My mom always jokes like, it's great, you can get rid of them.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
we can help you keep them. So either they can do their own E2, you can sell them 50% of your business because you can own 50-50 and still get two E2s on the same business as long as you've invested $100,000 on each side. Or one of the special things that we've done for some families in the past is they've actually hired their child to work in a managerial role at their business. A cool thing about E2 is that let's say, you are running a construction business in England, right? And you want to come to the United States and do the same kind of business, but you have your trusted manager that you worked with for 10 years back in England that you want to take with you. Well, the business, wherever that business is E2 registered, you're able to actually hire E2 employees who get the same perks as you. They don't have to invest and they can come to the United States and work for your E2 business. Their spouse gets the same benefits, all the same as what I just described, and they can come and work for you. So we've done that for people who, they have, like I said, a manager, someone that they trust back at their business back home. They want to bring them down. Or it's a family member that they trust and that person has some managerial experience and so it aligns and they bring them down that way. Other than that, there's other avenues and we're going to get into that, into how to get your green card and how to sponsor your family at the same time.
I remember we had a client, Mena. I told her about the E2, and she said, "Can I hire my daughter?" And she explained to me her. I said, "Absolutely." So then she emails me and she says, "My son-in-law doesn't believe you." I said, "He's a non-believer, is he?" She goes, "Yes." I said, "Okay, let's have a call with your daughter-in-law." So he comes on the video call. I said, "Are you the non-believer?" He said, "Yes, I am." So I explained everything to him and he's like, "Okay." So I think about 2 months ago, they were approved. The daughter was approved as an employee and he got to go along. And when
Yeah.
they notified us they got out of the embassy and they're like, "We got approved, everything's great." I said, "Are you still a non-believer?" He goes, "No, I believe,
No,
I believe,
I believe.
I believe." And now he's in Texas where he wants to be. So that's a nice thing to do as well.
Yeah. I'd like to talk a little bit about E1. I know we probably don't have a slide for that,
It's
but
okay.
E1 gives you the same perks as E2. The requirements for E1 are a little bit different. They're actually better. So if, let's say you have a business in your home country and you sell a service or a product to the United States. Okay, so let's do an let's I'll give you an example of a recent client. Okay, so let's say that you had a cosmetic business in Canada and you sell cosmetic products mainly to the United States. The rules are that 50% or more of your foreign trade, so not sales within Canada or within your country, but sales outside of your country, comes from the United States, and that you're doing at least $70,000 to $75,000 in revenue from that source. If that's the case, and you want to keep that business in your country active, you can do an E1 and it doesn't require you to spend $100,000 and will allow you the exact same perks as E2. The downside to that, and a lot of people use E1 in the beginning and then end up transitioning later, is that you'll still have to pay taxes back home. So that kind of takes away from the fun.
Ouch. Yeah.
It adds an ouchie. So if you want to avoid the tax, it'll be worth it to spend 100,000 and do an E2.
A hundred
Unless
percent.
unless it's, you really want to get down quickly, you meet the requirements, and you're like, let's go, we'll figure it out once we're there and change it up. So or you're not, or maybe you're not ready to wind down your business back home, which makes sense if you have a big business or it's just something that it has been working for you. So that's E1.
So we also have business law at Maimone Legal. This grew out of a necessity. Our clients wanted us to take care of everything. When I say everything, they even ask us to do things. Mena's like, I can't, you can do it, figure it out. Please do it for me.
That's
Anyway,
true.
business law. You know what, guys? I know what it feels like. You're in another country. You're going to open a business. Where do I start? How do I do this? Where do I go? Well, that's where we come in. So we can, if you're going to buy an existing business, we can set you up with a business broker. We can be by your side to review any documents. We can help you with purchase and sale, transferring business, operating agreements, anything and everything you need. We can set your entity up, get your tax ID number, help you with cross-border accounting services, and we will basically hold your hand one step at a time so that you can get set up in the state of your choice. Mena and her team will give you legal advice as to what the best way to set up. Cross-border accounting services will help you from a tax standpoint, what your best entity going forward, depending on what your goals are. And we will basically are there to support you from start to finish with the business law. We also do estate planning. And Mena, let's talk about estate planning because that's
I'd
really
like,
important
I'd
too.
like to add something with the business law.
Sure.
I've had clients in the past, and this is also something where you come in, Mom, where your expertise come in. I've had clients in the past hire us to do an E2, and they're new to Florida or Texas or wherever state they're going, and they're confused. They start searching for, we find them a broker because we offer that service as well. They start searching for a business, and then they start sending me the businesses. And they'll say, hey, what about this business or that business? We've now introduced a service where we can take a look at that business for you, review the financials, and give you a breakdown of what's been presented to you and whether that business will be viable or not. I had a client, and we did a webinar, or we had a video with him, the Indy, and he kept coming down to Florida and trying to look at different businesses. And one day he says, I found a business. I'm gonna make cookies. So I said, okay, send me the business information. He sent me the information and I said, Indy, you're gonna make cookies to make not that much. This is not the business for you. You need to go there and watch you need to physically be in the business and see what's going on. He did that. He followed my advice and he dodged a bullet. He's now opened his own business that he actually really enjoys, and it's something that he can do long term. So even though you guys want to get your visa, it's really important that you engage us for business law services like that, because
Yeah.
if you make the mistake of buying a business just because you want a visa really bad, you're stuck with that for 5 years, and it's not something that will be sustainable. So it's really important that you help do that. Estate planning, we didn't know when we moved here. We figured it out later that you can be sued in the United States very easily, and that if you don't have your assets properly protected in a trust or an LLC, that can open you up to liability. They
Did
can
you
have,
say asset on purpose?
no.
Protect your asset.
Yeah, that's cute. Protect your asset.
Protect your asset.
Protect your asset. So we can help you do that. What we do is we get a complimentary call. We take a look at everything that you have, what your plans are, what you're hoping to purchase here, and we help structure you before you make those purchases.
Right,
So if you want the dream team, you found it because we've literally done everything associated to you moving here and not getting, pardon my French, screwed over.
right. And I like to say Big Brother is watching because we're very protective of you guys.
We
And we
are.
want to make sure, if you're buying something, it's being done right. If you're purchasing a home, you've got the right guidance. We can help you with real estate all across the state in Texas. We have a team ready to go. Even with businesses, sometimes we'll have clients who are like, I've been looking for a business for a year. I can't find anything. I'm not surprised. I've been to the business brokers meetings, and usually the good ones get traded amongst the brokers before they even get on the MLS. And they don't really take you serious when you're calling and you're just looking if maybe you're going to buy a business. We have connected brokers with clients, hundreds of people. And so when I contact the broker and I say, here's a client of ours, Bill, he needs a business in Fort Myers.
Good
They're going to
old
take
Bill.
it serious. Bill's going to Fort Myers and they're going to take good care of you, because if they don't, then they're going to get cut off and we're going to find another broker to help them.
Yeah.
Same thing with real estate. We stay included in the process. We can help you whether you're buying, renting, commercial, residential, um, pretty much everything that you
It's
might need.
perfect. One-stop shop.
One-stop shop.
We keep
We kind of
adding to
talked
our
about this.
services. We keep adding to our services as problems come up. You want to go through it, Mom?
Well, we talked about the business stuff already. There's two things that I'm really excited about, one a little more than the other. But for 2 years when I moved here, I couldn't figure out healthcare. And I'm usually pretty bright. And it was terrible. And so now we have a couple of brokers who are awesome. One is Canadian, one is a Floridian. They can help you with all of your healthcare questions. They're trusted professionals that can help guide you and make sure that you're properly protected. And then marketing.
This
When we
is
first started the law firm, we hired marketing company number one from a big company and they failed us. Number two failed us. Number three, it was just one thing after the other. It was never going right. We spent a lot of money and we wasted a lot of time. We now have a full marketing department at our disposal working for Maimone Legal, and it's called,
Rocki Media.
there it is. ChatGPT said that was a great name. I'm not trying to be, what's the word? I'm very
Yeah,
proud of
yeah,
Rocki Media.
yeah.
And so we took our marketing department and we have an incredible marketing director. He's on the call with us tonight. You just can't see him. And we thought, what else can we do to help our clients? Well, this is it. We are going to help you set it all up, get it all ready to go, and then we're going to put together an incredible marketing program for you. Whether you're a small business planning to be a big business or you are a big business, we can help you with absolutely everything. And there's not going to be the question as to, is this going to work? Because it works.
And
So very
if I could
proud to
just
be
butt
able to
in
do that.
there, I
What, Matt?
think I said if I could just butt in there, I think it's really important to really consider the marketing piece because when you move to a new country, you don't know anybody. And so there's hardly any word of mouth at the beginning. And so you're going to have to rely on your marketing efforts. And let's face it, today, in today's day and age, everybody's online, everyone's on social media. And if you know how to tap into that, you can take a little startup or a little small business that you bought to satisfy your E2 and you can make millions. So the marketing company is super exciting. Rocki Media is really going to
What a
transform.
great name.
A great name. Gonna transform and help a lot of people. And I think this kind of came to be. We were, in discussions with a lot of our E2 clients, and they were expressing concerns over that. Like, I'm gonna buy this business, and then, maybe I've never owned a business before. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to get it off the ground or, make it popular. So that's kind of where this idea came from, and I think it's gonna be great. Oh, okay. This
All
is
right,
my favorite.
tell us your story, honey.
So I came, like I said, I came to Florida 8 years ago and I decided that I wanted to become an attorney. So I went to law school, put in my hard work, studied for 4 months, so remember, 7 years of university, took the bar exam with all of my peers, waited 8 weeks for the results to come out. I was freaking out. I was so nervous. And the day comes, the results come out, and I didn't pass. So I was super down, and I was telling all my family and friends, I'm gonna bake cakes. I'm not gonna be a lawyer. I'm not gonna be a lawyer anymore. I'm gonna bake cakes. And they're like, no, 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 you can't, you can't, you can't. And I'm like, yeah, no, I quit. I don't want to do it anymore. And I had this professor, and I still thank him to this day. I had this professor that I was supposed to meet with to discuss starting my firm. And I canceled the meeting and I wrote to him and I said, I'm canceling today's meeting. I didn't pass. And I don't think being a lawyer is for me. And he said, no, you and your mom are going to come to because my mom was going to be part of that meeting as well. You and your mom are going to come to the meeting. And I said, well, there's nothing to discuss, but I'll come anyway. We get on the call with him and he's like, you're gonna do what? You're gonna quit? You're not quitting. You're gonna do whatever it is that you've got to do to make this work. And I was like, damn it. I didn't want to admit, I was like, damn it.
I
He's
just want to
right.
bake cakes.
But damn it, he's right. I worked too hard for too long to quit. So for the next 8 months, I locked myself in my apartment. I studied 9, 10 hours a day. And I would repeat this quote: it's not over when you lose, it's over when you quit. And there was a motivational speaker that I would watch every single day. It's called, if you guys want to look it up, it's called Lion Mode. This is him right here. So this motivational speaker, I would listen to this man right here every single day talk about how if you want to do something, you've got to do it in lion mode. You can't do it in half mode. in zebra mode and whatever other mode, scared mode. You've got to do it in lion mode all the way, right? If you want to get something done. And so fast forward, I passed the bar exam the second go. I opened Maimone Legal. Everything is going amazing. We joined this amazing organization called CRISP. And from time to time, I would still listen to Lion Mode when I was feeling down or unsure about the future. Sure enough, we get invited to go to this summit for free. We go to the summit for free. And we're sitting there and they have this motivational speaker up on the stage. I didn't know what this man looked like because I would only listen to the audio of it. Anyway, I'm sitting in the audience and I hear his voice. And I'm like, it's him. It's the lion mode guy. And I had tears in my eyes because I thought I was meant to be here as a sign. And this sign is that you did the right thing, you worked hard, you wanted something, and you went after it. And you didn't take no for an answer. And so the reason, and like obviously I got the chance to meet him, but the reason that I'm telling you that is because if you guys want something, don't take no for an answer. Don't take, you can do it. You can do whatever you set your mind to. There's going to be naysayers, there's going to be haters. Everyone's going to tell you you're crazy. Where you're moving to another country. You want to do it. You want to open a business. You want to thrive. You want to have an amazing life. You got to do it in lion mode. So
Yeah,
that's my motivational speech of the night.
yeah, you
Hopefully,
guys should look him up. He's
it,
unbelievable.
yes.
Okay, so I think we've come to the end of our information. Thanks for sharing that, man. I almost cried as you were telling it because I was sitting beside you when you
Lived it.
were emotional.
Yeah.
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 So everyone, we've got Facebook. We have a wonderful Facebook group. We have Instagram. Follow us. We have a lot of fun too. And we put out all kinds of information. We have a YouTube channel that has over 10,000 subscribers. We're constantly putting out content. We're putting out all of our webinars are there. You name it. If you follow us on all of these, you'll stay up to date with everything that's happening. Mena comes on, answers questions, talks about any rules or laws that have changed, and we also have a great time as well. And if you want to book a call with us, we offer complimentary 20-minute calls. If you go to this website, you'll see a little bit more. This is a little bit more towards Canada, but if you go to the movetotheusa.ca, you can either book a free call even with the QR code. That's with our intake team. If you want to skip that and go directly to one of the attorneys,
Want to meet me?
might be Mena. It might be one of the other two attorneys as well. There are paid consultations. If your case is a little complicated or you really want to spend half an hour or an hour with one of the attorneys, here's the really nice part of it. It is a paid consultation. It's either 175 or 350, but that gets credited to your account. And then when you hire us, you can use that as a credit towards your account. We didn't want to impede you from getting the information that you're looking for. So now we're going to open it up to questions, and I'm going to put on my lovely 55 plus glasses so that I can read some of the questions.
I think you look cute.
Thank you. Oh, Roxanne's here. Hi, Roxanne. I think she's only missed
Roxanne
one.
is our cheerleader from the very beginning.
So London is a disaster. How does George, we are so sorry for what's happening in London. We are going to make a really valiant attempt to help you and other citizens. And if you have any questions, please feel free to book the introductory call. We'd be happy to walk you through. I'm sure Mena talked a little bit about you. Oh, hi, Ilker. Nice to see you too. Can one spouse apply for the E2 and the other spouse apply for a diversity visa at the same time?
Oh, I think Ilker had a question though, Mom. He said, great to
Oh,
see you two. Would selling on Amazon and growing that qualify for an E2 visa, probably with a proof of a lease of at least a small space? Okay, so yes, you can do selling on Amazon, but you're going to need to have a physical location. You're going to need to furnish or equip that location. you're gonna have to show, okay, so I always explain it. There's what's called the proportionality test, which says that you have to spend the funds in the diverse areas, okay, for your startup. That makes sense for your business. So sometimes we have a client that wants to spend the bulk of their money on one thing. That's not going to work because we have to show that tomorrow, if you were given the granted the E2, you can operate that business. Remember, it's also helpful to have a US citizen employee already. So if you're just going to do a lease, that won't be enough. You're going to have to spend equipment, inventory, marketing, leasehold improvements, pay out the lease up front. If you need a vehicle, you're going to have to show that you've spent it in different areas. But if you're going to be selling a product, or various products on Amazon, that could be something that you would do. Sorry, go ahead, Mom.
Sorry, Ilker, I didn't realize. I thought you were just saying great to see you. Can one spouse apply for an E2 and the other one for a diversity visa at the same time?
Yes, the diversity visa really has nothing to do with the E2. So you could even yourself apply for the diversity visa and the E2 at the same time.
Patricia says she wants to know more about scholarship. Kids are 16 and 14. I need to convince my ex about this move. We have other single moms, and the spouses who are remaining in Canada recognize that it's a tremendous opportunity for their children, and they're actually wanting them to go forward. Scholarship opportunities, it's called the Bright Future Scholarship. You can take a look at it. If you want to book a consultation with us, Patricia, and even maybe if you're, on good talking terms, sometimes spouses will get on a consultation together so that they get all their questions answered instead of you try, it's like broken telephone.
You can
So
also record the consultation, share it. It's not an issue. Ryan Hart, do you offer the same loan options in Texas? Uh,
yes,
we have an awesome team for loans in Texas. Such
yes,
nice
we do.
people.
Yeah,
And
absolutely, Ryan.
yeah, we can definitely help you with that.
They have a child who's 22. How do they bring him along? So Mena touched on that. They can either be a partner of your LLC, they can do their own E2, or you might want to hire them as an E2 employee. If they want to go to school, they can go on an F1 visa. When someone graduates from school in the United States, they get a 1-year open work permit when they're done, and then they can, potentially get sponsorship from a
And,
company.
and something really cool was just announced. So everyone was really upset about the H-1B, it being $100,000. However, they've now said that the H-1B, if you come from an F1 student visa and you go to an H-1B, there's no $100,000
That's
uh,
fabulous.
payment. So yeah, it's really great. If they want to study here, schools are awesome, and then there's opportunities that come with that as well.
So Jeanette, your ex-husband's American, so your kids are half American. Well, he would have to sponsor them for them to be American.
Well, it depends. There's maybe an N600K
Yeah.
option there,
My
especially if you're,
company's growing. We're going to capitalize on the US market. What are the next steps I should consider wanting to expand my company there and wanting to do dual in future? You know what, Jeanette? We'd love to help you. You're going to need to do a consultation.
I can briefly touch on this though. So if your husband, ex-husband, grew up in America and spent at least 5 years in the United States, two of which after he was 14, then your kids, depending on whether he financially supported them and whether he was, actually his name is listed on the birth certificates and all that, can actually have your children claim US citizenship. So that's a direct path to citizenship. It's really easy. The other way is that your ex-husband can sponsor them if that's not the case. That does take a long time. It takes about 10 years for them to get approved for that if they're over the age of 21. If they're under 21, they come right away and adjust their status and get their green cards. For you, you would be able to do an E2. And then once your children reach 21 and they're US citizens, they can sponsor you for your green card. And that's fairly quickly. It all depends on the relationship. So if it's a US citizen adult child sponsoring the parent, then it's pretty much right away, 4 to 6 months for you to get your green card as well. So that, like my mom was saying, it would be best if we had a consultation so we could ask all those important questions and we could, really strategize with you to come up with a plan.
The E2 typically takes 5, 6 months from start to finish. A lot of it depends on you. Estimated legal costs, it depends what you're doing, but it's all flat fee. If you have a call with us, we'll go through and find out what your needs are, and then we'll give you a written proposal. Can you guys send me the recording? Okay, what are the approximate expenses related to buying an existing business? Well, it depends the kind of business you're buying. So we have people who buy businesses for 100,000, 1 million, and everything in between. That really depends on you. And then in terms of what we charge, again, you'd have to have a call with us so that we can figure out what you need, and then we would be happy to give you a proposal.
You missed EB2 and EB3 question.
Oh, I didn't.
So EB2 and EB3 do take quite a while. You need a US sponsor. So basically it's an employment-based petition. It's a direct shot to a green card, but it does take about 4 years. For EB2, you do need to have a high level of education, so a bachelor's degree with some experience or higher. For an EB3, you could have just the work experience and not the bachelor's degree, so that's the major distinction there. And basically, the employer has to be willing to demonstrate, and we would help through this as well in guiding that, demonstrate that they couldn't hire an American for the role. That takes about a year and a half. And then, due to some backlogs, you're looking at about 4 years total before you be able to get approved for that. Once you do have your green card, then you're good to go. But in the meantime, you would need another kind of visa if you wanted to come sooner to the US. And that's where E2 would, or F1, or student visa or anything like that would come into play.
Someone asked about if we can work in other states. So immigration law is federal. So everything that Mena has discussed, that we've discussed here tonight, it doesn't matter where you go. We can help you. The rules are exactly the same. So you would just choose the state that you want to live in. So if both your husband, she's saying if both husband and wife are partners of a franchise, do they each have to contribute 100K? No.
So that wouldn't, you could be partners, but remember, one of you gets an open work permit. So you only one of you would have to demonstrate that you've invested the $100,000.
So Tina, if you're retired, congratulations. One of these options would have to work for you as well. You'd have to, if you're doing an E2, you'd have to open a business
Didn't
or,
really talk about EB5.
yeah.
EB5, if you have the funds, is an $800,000 investment that you would make out to a government pre-approved project. They call it an investment, I call it a loan because you get the money back after 4 to 5 years, depending on the project that you choose. There's usually some minimal interest that is given as well. And I know it sounds kind of daunting, right? It's a lot of money and what project and where's the money going? You would work with a broker of your choosing who would basically advise you on the different projects, give you all the information you need to know before you make your final decision. But that does result in a green card. And right now we're seeing approvals in as little as 6 to 7 months. With that, you can come to the United States right away. Your spouse and any child under 21 would get a green card, which then leads to citizenship. So Tina, if that's something that's financially feasible for you, that's an option. Or you can always come to the US and get married if you're looking for a retirement partner.
Plan.
So
Yeah.
uh, those
On
are really
Maimone Legal's YouTube, there are a couple of webinars specifically designed for the EB5 visa. If you have any interest in that, I would recommend that you really watch that. If you want to meet with me to discuss EB5, I'm happy to give you 30 minutes of my time. We'll give you information on how to connect with us a little bit later. Does age have anything to do with E2 eligibility, Mena?
Oh, he also wrote what type of business models are good or not. So, Joseph, it doesn't really matter what business model you choose, as long as it makes sense and you fulfill the requirements that I mentioned earlier on, you're good to go. The only type, this is going to be funny, but the only kind of business that they don't like is anything cannabis drug related. So don't open
A weed shop.
yeah, like a, what do they call it? Like where you get the gummies.
Dispensary.
a dispensary. Don't open one of those. Other than that, you're good to go. And
What
then
about age? Age
age,
requirement?
age doesn't matter. If you're really young, they may question you a little further, like, are you able to run this business if you don't have a lot of experience? If you're really old, maybe you have a lot of experience and that makes you perfect for it. So, but we can work with you to look at your resume and say, okay, we need to beef it up a bit, or let's talk about your experience or whatever. So we can help you with that. But no, usually it's not based on age.
So Paul, healthcare for a family of four really depends on the state you're going to, what kind of healthcare, what kind of deductibles. It really a la carte. Every year, healthcare opens up right now. It's called open enrollment period. You choose your plan for the following year. So the broker will go through and explain to you all the differences, and you select what you like and what premium you're looking to spend.
It's kind of like getting home insurance, I like to say. Like what deductible are you okay with paying? Under what scenarios do you want to be covered? So we're not used to that coming from social medicine, but that it's really a la carte, like my mom said. You can kind of customize it.
You said that they should hire a US citizen right away, but however, they don't need one,
Doesn't matter.
right?
You want to need to, if you want to be successful, you need to build a business that requires an employee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
RSPs, TFSAs. TFSA, you can't put any more money into it, but it can sit there. And RRSPs, you can take them out I took mine out when I was a US resident because I didn't really want to leave anything in Canada anymore. And if you take it out when you're in Canada, it gets added to your income and you lose half. If you take it out when you're a US resident, the withholding tax is only 25%. So it's much better. Uh, My wife doesn't like gators. How often do you see them?
Never.
Never seen one.
Well, I saw them because I actually went to where they all live, and I went with some friends, and one of the guys that we were with was actually poking them with a stick, and they were going like, but they don't like, it's not like they're, gonna chase you and like bite your leg off. They're
Gotta
actually,
go to the Everglades to see them.
yeah, I drove like we drove like 40 minutes into the Everglades, and they're more afraid of you than you are of them, really. So I wouldn't worry about that.
Hey, Mithra. Mithra's online. Mithra's
That's our buddy.
a Canadian healthcare advisor that we've talked about. Welcome, Mithra. Alexis wants to know if you are helping with an L1A visa.
Sure, absolutely, Alexis. Book a consultation and we'll go over it. We have to be really careful with L1A and make sure that you qualify, because there's a pretty high threshold, and depending on what you want to do after the L1's over.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people who were ill-advised, did an L1, it wasn't the right path, then came to us and we had to fix
It has
everything.
to be the right fit for your
Yeah.
business and your plans.
Um, when do I apply for an E2 visa? Well,
You have
you
to
guys,
apply after you already set everything up. So you can come to the United States as a visitor. You can set up your business. You can hire an employee. You can do everything that you need to just set it up, but you can't actually work there.
you can have employees running it for you.
Have employees running it for you, but you can't actually work there until you get your E2. So, the grocery store, you could have it fully staffed and running, or you can, purchase the space, get it all set up, have the inventory ready to come in on a specific date, and you're just waiting to get your E2 for that to come in if you're going to do more of an owner operated setup.
So there's a lot of questions about hiring an American. So
Hmm.
with the Trump administration, we've noticed that they want you to hire an American person.
Hmm.
So at the firm, we give you a money back guarantee. We are, literally have our finger on the pulse of the E2. Literally every day a client is going for
But
the
correction, the money
visa.
back guarantee is just for Canada. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so as soon as our clients go to the consulate, we hear back from them. What were they asked? What were they looking for? So we know last minute up to date what they're asking for. And lately they've been asking for an American employee. So I think they're going to get a
They've
little,
been they've leveled up they've become stricter in their requirements. They want at least $100,000 spent. They want an employee. they want you to demonstrate ties to your country, meaning that you're not going to come to the United States and stay after your visa expires. So when we give you these requirements, it's not because we want to make your life difficult. We don't want you to show up to that interview and be denied because you didn't have what they needed. So we're really beefing up what we ask of you, and it's for your own good at the end of the day, right? You don't want, nobody wants to go through all that and then they go there and they get denied because of something that they could have prevented, right? So that's an important
I
thing.
get asked this all the time. What if someone has equipment in Canada? Can that be part of the 100,000?
It can't be a big part of it. I tell people that you have to actually really sell that equipment to your US company. There has to be a transfer of funds, a bill of sale. All of the equipment has to be photographed and actually relocated to the United States prior to applying. We have to be able to show that equipment physically in the US for it to apply. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not my favorite thing. I
Right.
would prefer it if you came and bought everything here. But if it's something that you feel that you have to do and you're okay with the risk of it, then that's fine.
Antonietta, if your kids are on an F1 visa, there is no age limit. As long as they're in school, the F1 visa continues. They go to school till they're 50, as long as it's a full-time recognized school. So not an issue with that. The biggest risks when buying a business, well, we can help you with that. If you do it right, there shouldn't be any risks. We go through due diligence. We help you with the offer process. We look at the financials. A lot of people are afraid to buy a business because they think they're going to buy someone else's troubles. Sometimes that might be accurate if you're not doing a good enough job. But in Canada, I bought and sold businesses, and it was really hard to find a good one. Because if it was good, you just keep it. In the United States, there are tax advantages to buying and selling your business. You can redo your depreciation and offset some of your costs. And a lot of people buy businesses for E2, they come into the country, then maybe they transition to an EB5 or they get married or something happens, they sell the E2 business. So good businesses are being traded all the time. If you do your due diligence properly and you get us to guide you, you shouldn't have an issue with that. Are there any Canadian grants that help with startup? No. There are all kinds of really good businesses that we've seen. It's a matter of you deciding what you like, what your forte is, and how you can build that business.
Well, there aren't any Canadian grants, but what a lot of people will do is they'll take a line of credit on their home and use those funds to help, help them with their American journey.
Okay, there's like so many more questions. Uh, it
I
can't be
think
run out of a home. I think we've got a lot of these.
let's answer two more. What someone's asking to switch from E2 to green card, is it only EB5 or immigration-based work visas such as EB2? Unfortunately, yes, unless, for example, you marry a US citizen. Those are really the only options. And once you're here on E2, remember, you can keep renewing it indefinitely as long as you meet the criteria. If you later want to do EB5 or get married or have EB2, get sponsored on EB2 or EB3, that's something we can help you with, and you can do it while you're here. You don't actually have to leave. You just maintain your E2 status and then do an adjustment status. So those are really the only options for a green card later.
Purchasing a house, a residential property never has anything to do with your immigration whatsoever. They don't care that you own a house or it's not part of your um, what you're doing for it.
Someone asked if they can apply for an E2 while they're in the USA as a snowbird. Absolutely. We have our clients come here for 6 months. During that time, they set everything up and they are able to actually submit their petition and fly up to their country for the interview. So we can if you move quickly, if you work diligently at it, we can aim to have it done within 6 months for you for sure.
Julia, if you buy a business that's $35,000 and then you add 65,000 by hiring, updating, marketing, yes. As long as your spend is over 100,000, all the pieces of your business are there, then that's fine. You don't have to buy a business, like the purchase doesn't have to be over 100. All of your proper expenses have to be over 100. Was there any other ones, Mena, that you wanted to touch?
No, I think we kind of, oh, someone says moving to California instead of Florida and Texas.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's fine.
yeah, it's totally fine, but they're asking the pros and cons. I just think that, like we discussed in the very beginning, Florida and Texas are pro-business. I know that California has higher taxes and the laws are a little bit different there and it's not as favorable to business. But it really depends on what you value and what you're looking for, right? So there's a state for everyone. The United States are all beautiful. I've been to blessed to have gone to a lot of them. And so if it's not Florida or Texas and you prefer to go to another state, that's totally fine. So most of our networks and professionals that we work with span over all of the states. So we can help connect you, get you set up even if you want to go to another state. And we've worked with people who have gone all over the place. Hey, you can even go to Hawaii if you want to. We'll help you go
That's
there too.
right. Uh,
So
yeah,
not
Cheryl, you can have a consulting business. Chris, you can get set up with healthcare. So as soon as you're approved, we can get Mithra can take care of you. You can get all set up. There's so many other questions. I want to leave you with someone asked about the name of the motivational speaker. If you just go into Google and type lion mode, he'll come up. All of his videos will come up, and he's unbelievable if you watch him.
And if we could put up our code again to book a call. I really want to encourage you all. I know that you have a lot of questions. We want to answer them for you and we want to give you personalized responses. We might have not been able to get to all the questions tonight, but we really want to help you. And so please scan the code for it. It's a free 20-minute call. You've got nothing to lose. If you want to talk to me specifically, you want to have a half hour or an hour with me, just reach out to us and we can arrange that. We have some
Yes.
amazing attorneys on our team as well. If it's not me, if it's one of them, they're fantastic, really knowledgeable, and really care about our clients. Another thing I want to say is that we recognize there's a time difference for our people out in the UK. And so we're going to be offering different times for our webinars to accommodate you for your time zone. So thank you for staying up super late. We appreciate you. We know we're probably exhausted. And so we're going to offer you probably at 7 or 8 p.m. your time, a European webinar. So that's coming, okay?
Yeah,
Anything?
I mean, no, just at the end of the day, guys, I just wanted to let you know that there's so many things happening in Canada. There's things happening in the UK. It's sad that we're in this state of affairs where both areas were beautiful countries to live in. And if you're thinking about making the move, doing something better for your family, get the right information. Make sure that you know what all your options are. Come down. If you want to come see us, you're welcome to come see us. And really take the time to see if this is a good journey for you. So we really want to give you as much information as possible. I can tell you that the only thing I regret is that I wish I had done it 20 years ago. But watching my children grow up here, the opportunities that they're having, I'm having the time of my life. I'm meeting some incredible people. We can help you from A to Z, guys. So all you need to do is decide if this is something you want to do. Get started, bring us on board. Let's get you acclimated. Let's get you going. And you'll be amazed at how much we can do in a short period of time. You might be here next year. Your kids could start school here next year. This could be the last time you see winter. I mean,
Exciting.
exciting. I haven't seen it in 7 years. Anyway, that's just my spiel. It's a real honor and pleasure to be here. If you want to email us, there's a generic email address, info@maimonelegal.com. Go on our website. There's a million different ways to get a hold of us. We look forward to talking with you, working with all of you, and really, make your American dream come true. Come join us. We'd love to have you with us.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Night, everyone. Have a good night.